So last week we set a challenge for people to download a track and we all master it. You guys master it digitally, we'll master it analog. And then what we wanted to do, and the general idea behind the video was we wanted to compare the digital masters to an analog master, because I firmly believe that analog mastering has a superior sound to digital mastering. Now, in total, we got 70 tracks come in from all different ranges of kind of levels of experience. People who were, you know, hobbyists, people who don't necessarily master their own tracks, and people who are more of a level where they're professionally mastering tracks digitally. So we've got a wide range of people here, and the results were interesting because out of the 70 tracks I picked 2 which were of a standard that could be released, and out of 70 tracks, that's 68 tracks that weren't up to a standard that they were had a quality control where they could be released. There was 2 of them that could definitely, you could say, yeah, they are masters that you could release on a professional level, and they would stand up with the rest of other people's tracks. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to jump into Pro Tools. We're going to open the session, and we're literally going to just flick between each of the files, reference to my master, which is done through this mastering chain, reference to that master, and just get, like, look, I've got the names of each person who's submitted each file, and I don't think it's a bad thing to, it's not, trust me, this is not a case of name and shaming or anything like that, but the names are on visually seen, right? So we're not hiding who did what master and all this sort of stuff. You can see who's done what master, and what I want to do here is just, as much as highlight that certain tracks aren't up to a good standard of master, but also highlight what it is that's wrong with it, and hopefully this will help the person who's done the mastering create a better master in the future. So let's dive in and have a look at each track, and let's do a reference to my master, because the original claim that I said was basically, you know, you guys download it, master it digitally. I stand by the fact that no one, on whatever level you want, like anyone and everyone could have got involved. I stand by the fact that no one would be able to get a master that stood, like, hopefully one will stand up to mine. And it's somewhat subjective, and it's somewhat, when you listen to the 2 that I said that are good, they are good. They're all right masters. But there's differences. You'll hear there's a sonic characteristic that the analog chain has that every one of these digital masters doesn't have. So yeah, let's have a look. Okay, so what we're going to do now is basically play the master that I have done through this analog equipment, and then reference to the 2 masters which I feel are up to the standard of a release. These are the 2 best masters that I found out of the 70. These are the 2 of the best ones. These are the 2 that I consider up to the standard that they could be released. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to line these up quickly because that one's slightly out. I'm going to play this section here, and we'll start with playing my master, then we'll flick to these other 2 masters. Now, I've broken this down into sections, so we've got all these different sections. Now, look, if you see your name in the sections of the bad masters or the poor masters, overcompressed or dull masters, don't take it to heart. You know, I'm going to go through each of these tracks and kind of give an analysis of what is kind of wrong. Look, otherwise I've got to do this quick, otherwise this video is going to be 40-50 an hour long. So I'm going to rush through each track once I've gone through these first 2 and just kind of really highlight what it is that I'm hearing that is wrong with it. Now, all of these files are downloadable, so you can go do your own comparisons yourself. But let's quickly press play and have a listen to this section here. So first of all, we're going to play the master through this analog equipment. And now we're going to switch between from analog to the two masters that I feel are good. Now, flicking between these two masters that I feel are good, they're very similar. Like, let's just have a quick listen between the two, switching between the two masters. They're both very, very similar. And yeah, look, if you've got an opinion on what you're hearing, please put it in the comments. We'd love to read it, and it gives a bit of, you know, we get to have this conversation of, it's subjective, right? But I know where I stand on this, and I stand with that analog master is far superior to the other two. Maybe not far superior. Far superior is maybe a bit harsh. It is superior. I know what one I find more pleasing to hear. I know what one I find has more depth, has a better image, and the analog one wins every time here. And that's not to say that the digital masters aren't good. They're just a different tone and a different kind of sound that sounds digital. Now, for me, I much prefer the sound of the analog master. If you have a difference of opinion, or if you agree, please let us know in the comments. Okay, so let's now jump straight to the next one here, which I've got, which is, I've called it bad imaging. Now, the bad imaging, I feel these masters have something wrong with the imaging. Now, this could be a case of, there could be a plugin. Now, look, a lot of people, where they haven't got massive amounts of experience, they'll use stereo widens in a really kind of bad way. You'll notice that some of these tracks are all sides, no mid. So yeah, let's just flick through. So what we do, just to reset your ears, I'm going to play the analog master, then I'm going to flick through all the ones that are in this section, which I call bad imaging. Like that one in particular, sounds like it has no mid. It's all sides. It feels like it's doing that. What's really interesting with flicking through all of them is how different every master is. You know, we've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what's that, 6 masters in that, 7 masters in that little section, and every master sounds so different from the others. Everyone is totally different, and that it points at a few things. That sort of thing is, is obviously you've got levels of experience, levels of skills. People, how good their ears are trained to be mastering tracks. But what what it does highlight is everyone's room's going to be slightly different. Now, I stand by the fact that I guarantee you every single one of these people mastering these tracks would get a far better sound if they were in this room, and that's how much a room plays a huge part in it. Having a perfect room with great speakers, great converters, Trinov optimized, it plays a huge part in making the right decisions on a master. So let's now move on to the ones I've listed as dull. Now these are obviously dull tracks, and by dull I mean there's no definition in the high end. So first of all, again, play my master, then we'll just flick between the dull tracks. So yeah, again, these people will have mastered these tracks based very much on, I feel like these sorts of tracks, they're mastered based on more what you can hear, whether they're using headphones or whether they're just in a room that's hyped in high end and something like that. It can play a big part in these sorts of and being able to master a track correctly, and that's why I always tell people it is so important that you have an accurate room that's gonna tell you whether you're mastering a track too bright or too dull. It's going to tell you that. So the next one is the complete opposite. These ones are 4 that I've picked out that are really harsh. So these ones, the high end's really harsh. So yeah, let's have a listen to these. First of all, again, we'll play the Audio Animals master, then we'll flick to the harsh masters. So yeah, you can hear there. I mean, it's quite clear that those 4 masters, they sound really harsh in the high end. Those the open hats. So I mean, you could probably see my face when listening to those 4. Flicking between them was a bit like, because it's very important that when you release a song, you're not going to kill people's eardrums. If you're listening to those sorts of masters on tinny little earbuds, it's going to have a bad effect. So let's now move. Where are we? Let's now move to. Where are we? This one. Yeah. Let's now move to what 4 that I've called overcompressed. Now, these ones are just, you'll instantly hear that they are way over compressed. So first of all, let's play the Audio Animals master again. Yeah, it's very clear to hear on those 4 tracks that the compression, it's like is smashed. Unnecessarily as well. It's not like we're getting a really loud sound. It's like a really weird choice of attack and release. So let's now move to, where are we? We're next on to what these ones are, masters that I consider as poor. Now there's quite a few, but you know, don't look, if, as I said before, is if your master is in this section, don't take it to heart. Obviously a lot of people who have submitted to this are hobbyists. Now the only time when you should really take this to heart is if your master's in here and you're a professional mastering engineer, because that's not good. And you know, I never like to beat on anybody, but yeah, look, there's a reason everybody submit their tracks, because this is totally open. If I didn't have them, if everybody's master was better than mine, I'd still do the video. It just would look bad on me. But here we have a load of tracks that they're very poorly mastered, and this is worrying when people will release masters like this, and that's the importance of a professional master engineer, someone who's going to have that quality control and stop these sorts of masters from going out. So let's now play these, and yeah, so again we'll start off with the Audio Animals master, and then we'll flick to what is probably 20 masters, 25 masters, which are in the poor category. Yeah, I mean, look, these, I would hope all of the masters there are by hobbyists who aren't professional engineers, who aren't doing this professionally, and because they're not, there's not one there that's, there was one or two which weren't as bad, and they could have probably gone into this okay section, but generally speaking, they're not good masters. And look, again, I say that, I keep saying this, but I don't want to be the person who's putting anybody down here, because that's not what this is about. So next up, we're going to go into the files that we consider as okay masters. These ones are yeah, okay masters. They're not bad, they're not good, but they're all right, they're okay. So we're just going to flick through these. So again, what we're going to do, play the Audio Animals master and then just jump through to each one. What we'll do after all this is we'll reference at different points directly to the Audio Animals master, to all the different files. So we get a jump between from the Audio Animals master to every other master. Right, so next we'll go through the ones that I consider as okay. Now, those masters, they're not great, but they're not bad. They really aren't that bad. Now these ones here, these are what I would consider good. These are good. They're better. They're not in this okay section, but they're not the best masters out of all of them, but these are good. So if your name's in here, you know, these ain't bad masters. These are sounding pretty good. So let's play this section. Again, we'll start with the Audio Animals master, which is here, and then we'll jump between all the good masters. So yeah, I mean, those aren't bad masters. So what I want to do now is I'm going to put my master is going to sit on this channel here. So I'm just going to literally flick between that one. Let's put that there, and then yeah, what we're going to do is go through each of the masters and do a direct comparison. From A to B basically, and how are we going to do this? Just like that. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to do A to B between the Audio Animals master to every other song that's in here. Now, here's the point of this is, now tell me if any of these songs rival the Analogue master, because I don't think that any do. And yeah, if you think there's one of these that rivals it, by all means, let me know in the comments. Because look, I want someone to rival this Analogue master. I do want that. I want there to be competition from the digital world. Right, okay. So we'll start with the Audio Animals master. We'll flip to each of these masters, and then we'll flick back again. So there we have the comparison, and the kind of conclusion that I've kind of come to there is that, yeah, there's some good masters. There was a few when we did the flicking through an A to B in, there was a few that were like, yeah, that's actually a really good master. And you can hear that. You can hear that there's similarities to the Analogue master, and if in this video, if we just say that the Analogue master is the master that all the digital masters want to sound like, if we just like, it just makes arguments very simple if we just basically say that. There's a few that do kind of capture that sound, and with some tweaking, could that sound get there? Maybe. But here's the thing with it, is that the Analogue sound is... Here's the thing. When listening to every single one of those masters, some have a lot of errors, and this comes down to experience, and some those people might not be mastering engineers and might more be hobbyists. And some have... everyone has a small error in it, even if it's something like the low end is wide and still in stereo and things like that, and haven't quite swept that mono maker in, little things like that. Every one I could go through and I could listen to each one and pick out something that was an issue with the master. And maybe someone could do that with the master that I did. It's highly subjective, and some people, they may feel that one of the digital masters is better than the Analogue master, and that's great. And that's the thing with mastering, is it is a subjective field, and there is no kind of definitively right or wrong, but there's what sounds pleasing to the ear. And out of 70 masters there, I still feel that the Analogue master does sound... it has a sound unlike any of those. And this is what I wanted to highlight in this video, is that, yeah, a digital master can kind of achieve a similar sound. It can get up there to what we consider as a professional sound. Yeah, it can get there, but it still has that digital aspect of it that sounds very digital. And I feel like that's clear in these when flicking between them. But that's what I've taken from it. I give the guys who got really close to it, I give them credit, because it is difficult to get a master that's close to Analogue. And I don't think that they used any. I do feel that they used 100% digital plugins, and they did get very close. And like I say, is it subjective whether you think that one's better than that one? But I feel that there's more depth in the Analogue. There's a 3D image that you don't quite get in any of those masters. And I hope people agree. But the one thing to kind of bear in mind here is that there's 70 masters there, and maybe 3 or 4 came close. The rest, there was a very, very clear night and day difference, I felt. So yeah, I mean, look, this is a good thing to watch, and it's a good thing to take on board. And if you got involved straight away, I mean, thank you for getting involved. It's good. And I'll tell you what was interesting, the amount of people that sent tracks in and all the nice comments that were attached to the emails, and people are thankful for these sorts of things. There's, mastering engineers, they don't get involved in these sorts of things, and that's why I like to be different. I want to open this sort of thing up to a community base where we can all kind of have these sorts of challenges, and I will do it. Look, do people want me to do more? If they do, I'll do more. I will create some more tracks, and we'll do some more of these A to B's, and you do a master, I do a master, and then we dissect them, kind of thing, and see what's the issue with certain masters, and you know, this could turn into a really nice series of videos. But yeah, that's my take on all of this. I'm impressed with certain. There's about 4 masters there that I was quite impressed with, and those guys will know which ones they are, because you know, we said that in the video.